start out with Bethel.
I know my arm that. Ready? Alright. You guys hear me okay? Great. So my name is Beth Hill, and I am running for village trustee. So again, I wanted to thank everyone for coming tonight. Definitely a big thanks to the Southwest Wisconsin Area Progressives for putting this event on. Brooke, thank you. Susan and Marilyn, thank you for coming out to Mount Horeb and sharing your vision for circuit court judge with us tonight. It's great to see the support here from the community. I'm going to start off by just talking a little bit about myself personally. So my wife Nora and I have lived in Mount Horeb for just over 6 years. We find ourselves enjoying the community more and more every day. We began the search for our new kind of hometown after we lived in downtown Madison in a studio while my wife Nora was finishing up school. And we searched, many kind of different cities and communities throughout the southwest part of Dane County, Oregon, Stoughton, Verona, Mount Horeb, Fitchburg, and we really were just trying to find what that correct hometown was going to be for us. Both are lifelong residents of Wisconsin. Nora is from Waukesha. I am from Shellsburg. And, we kind of chose this area of the state because of its, close proximity to Madison and because it is in the southwest portion of Wisconsin here. What really sealed the deal for us here in moving to Mount Horeb and making Mount Horeb our new home was really the rural small town charm, the plethora of local businesses and shops here in the area, and the supportive community vibe that we felt when we came to Mount Horeb. As we consider starting a new family, we're even more excited to continue to call Mount Horeb home. Currently, I'm employed as a professional services IT manager for CDW in Fitchburg. I've been with that company for just under 10 years. I have a Bachelor of Science in Biology and an Associate of Science in Computer Networking and Security Technologies from Pershing University, and my biology degree is from the University of Wisconsin-Platteville, and my wife is a physician assistant at the University of Wisconsin Hospitals for Madison. I would list off her degrees, but it would take the next 9 minutes of my speech, so we'll forego that. I've submitted my candidacy for position of village trustee because of my strong desire for involvement in the community at its highest level. The opportunities for both economic prosperity and residential growth are abundant. I plan to work very closely with the Mount Horeb Area Economic Development Corporation, the Chamber, and my fellow village board members to cultivate new and local business, to bolster trollway tourism, and all while really seeking to maintain Mount Horeb as one of the lowest taxed villages in Dane County. I want to work really hard to help elevate our village to new heights. So how do I plan to achieve this, you ask? Currently, the underdeveloped east end of Mount Horeb, known as the North Cape Commons, is owned by DeWitt real estate developers. DeWitt is required to market those vacant lots to both the county and the state. Recently, DeWitt just dropped the prices of those vacant lots by 30%, which seems like a step in the right direction. However, these prices were so inflated previously that really we're just seeing those prices now at a fair market price. There is no additional marketing being done by DeWitt outside of the minimum requirements of that contract. I am a strong proponent of the village to supply additional funding to the Mount Horeb Area Economic Development Corporation to start our own personalized campaign and efforts to promote the entrepreneurial opportunity for the North Cape Commons. As we continue to witness the development of the North Cape Commons in the downtown area, we can all envision a significant increase in trollway tourism if we target and attract the appropriate types of business. With the addition of the Grand Stay Hotel, the expansion of Duluth Trading, again, the plethora of local shops and restaurants and businesses we have in downtown, and of course the convenience of the Military Ridge Bike Trail, tourists are more apt to stay the evening in Mount Horeb. We as again a community in collaboration with the EDC and the Chamber need to support and bolster trolley tourism if we want to continue to see Mount Horeb grow as a tourist destination. We need to spread the word and seek the best businesses to help Mount Horeb maintain its unique and trendy tourist appeal. During the February village board meeting, Nick Owen, our village administrator, discussed the potential to nominate Mount Horeb's downtown to be recognized as a National Historic District. The preliminary reviews of the pros and cons of said nomination seem to be in favor for the village. The preliminary review, this is an exciting opportunity for the village, for the business owners and for the downtown area, and I'm in support of this nomination and anticipate additional tourism with that affiliation with the Historic Society. Again, as we continue to mention the potential increase in tourism, I know you are all thinking, where's everybody going to park? I'm aware of the parking concerns from both business owners and residents from our downtown perspective. I wanted to just talk a little bit about, there's been a recent survey of the downtown village which revealed that there are approximately 380 street stalls and 152 public stalls available to residents and tourists. An additional 244 stalls are going to be available in the near term. So additional parking signs are needed for supporting and helping tourists and residents find where those public parking stalls are. And I will work alongside, again, my village board members and the Public Works Department to get those signs in the downtown area to help those tourists out. For those residents and business owners who do have concerns about the downtown parking, I do ask that we think about the following question. This was posed to me when I asked a resident here in Mount Horeb about the downtown parking concerns. When out for a Sunday stroll through rural Wisconsin, are you more apt to stop in a village where there are restaurants and businesses that are bustling with residents and tourists? Or are you more apt to stop in a village where there's a surplus of parking and no residents or tourists in sight? I know which one I'm going to stop in. One thing to note real quickly on the tourism topic, I'm not discounting the work of the Tourism Commission or the Chamber. My understanding, they've done a beautiful job in promoting Mount Horeb as both a tourist destination and business locale. Again, just simply stating that we as residents need to continue to collaborate with those commissions and committees to make sure that we're continuing to bolster tourism as well. The cultivation of new and local business that bolsters tourism is instrumental in allowing the village of Mount Horeb to remain one of the lowest taxed villages and cities in Dane County. Economic prosperity drives tax revenue, which will allow our village to maintain a sustainable tax for its residents and for the foreseeable future, and will assist in the village in reducing its debt. Reducing the debt will allow the village the stability to push for further growth that will continue to provide back to the community, such as the proposed business park out on the southwest side of the city. Additional tax revenue will allow the village to maintain the numerous services provided to our residents at a low taxable cost. These services, such as waste management, snow plowing, tree trimming, help the community to stay both beautiful and safe. The last topic I would like to discuss tonight is the continued opposition of the ATC lines that are threatening the landscape of both Mount Horeb and the surrounding communities. I attended my first ATC meeting this week, a meeting that was led by the Wisconsin Dane Preservation Campaign. In addition to the WDPC, another spokesman from the Driftless Defenders was also present to support between opposition groups there. It wasn't until I declared my candidacy for this village trustee position, I was truly unaware of how the ATC lines were going to impact Mount Horeb and the surrounding communities. As the new acting treasurer, I asked that we all become involved in the opposition of the ATC lines. We are looking for a secretary if anybody's interested in getting involved. So in summary, my goal has been elected to be village trustee as follows: cultivate new and local business. Let's start our own marketing campaign. let's bolster Trollway tourism by coming together as a community and really promoting that entrepreneurial opportunity. And let's sustain Mount Horeb as one of the lowest taxed villages and cities in Dane County through the additional tax revenue that we'll gain from those villages. So again, that it? Am I at 10 minutes? Oh man, I won't make that. Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much.
I don't think you'll need that timer. I'll probably. Is it hard to hear? Sorry. I'm normally really loud. My name is Brenda Monroe. I moved to Mount Horeb with my family, my husband and 3 children in 2012? Yes, December of 2012. We chose to move here because we have some family in the area. The schools are great. The community is great, very close-knit, and it's just a place that we felt like we could make our home very easily and have. A little bit about me. I am a project manager, certified Scrum Master. That's a thing, you can look that up. For Insperity, and we do time and attendance software for lots of employers, actually. Some of my qualifications for village trustee, I have actually served as a trustee in a community prior to Mount Horeb. I had 2 non-consecutive terms, so I've got lots of experience with municipal stuff. It was, and the only reason I resigned from my last seat because we moved here. So I had an opportunity in 2013, I believe, to sit on the Mount Horeb School Board while Peter Strube was deployed. And so I got to sit on that with that group for approximately 6-8 months and learned a lot there about the community. It wasn't long after that Randy approached me about serving on the village board, and I thought it was a really great opportunity to give back, and here I am. I've been part of lots of really great projects in the village, the TID5 creation, the Norsk purchase, the Duluth project, the Historium, the Hoff building project, on and on and on and on. It's been really great to get to know all of the exciting things that are going on in town and continue to grow and learn more about the folks in town that are so passionate about just being a small community and doing the best that we can. Sorry, I'm so nervous. One of the things that I believe a lot in is servant leadership. And by being a servant leader, you really get your hands dirty into a lot of things, and this is one way to do that, not only giving back to the community, but really showing what we can do and making a positive impact, and showing my kids that it's important to be involved and to be a positive influence, and influence what I can, the change that I can for the folks around me and my family. Something that I pride myself on is to represent my neighbors and my community objectively and to really ask the hard questions. I saw a sign at a school district last weekend. We were traveling for a school thing, and there was a sign that said, make the right decision over the easy one. And that resonated with me as something that is really something that we need to force ourselves to do on a daily basis, no matter what it is that we're talking about. So that's something that I try to, it brought to light something that I try to live by. And so when we have our meetings and there are things that come up and we have some really nice debates at our meetings, I think that the board today will always choose the right decision over the easy one. And I'm happy to say that I've been part of that for the last 2 years. Another important topic to me is our employees. As a servant leader, you need to really be in touch with the folks that work for the village and the what's important to them, and to understand that sometimes perception, well, always perception is reality, and that we need to do a good job of making sure that they are happy where they're at, because they're an important commodity to the village, and we need to make sure that they feel protected and respected and heard. I don't have all of the specifics that Beth had about the specific issues because we live them month to month in the meetings, and there's so many things that we could talk through. But so that's me, Michelle.
Thank you.
Did you leave your notes up here?
I'm sorry. I just think that they were prepared.
Yeah, right. Well, hi, my name is Vaughn Picala, and I'm running for my second term as village trustee. Can everybody hear me okay? All right, good. And how many village residents do we have here today? Oh, we have a good number of them. Great. I'm glad to see that too, because that's what's important here in this village, right? For the people in the residency to understand and see what we are doing here as a trustee in your village and what you're electing us for. What does this greatest strengths, what I would bring to this office? The greatest strengths I can think of too, is I spent 22 years in the military. Okay, and I retired in 1989, and then I went directly to work again for McDonnell Douglas, working in maintenance engineering. I also worked in customer training and customer support, and traveled quite a bit over the world, seeing an awful lot of different economies and different situations around the world, so I could get a better idea of how wonderful we live here in this country. Some of us don't get that opportunity to go out and actually see what the world really looks like. But in my time, spending that time I had in the Marine Corps, and also through the time I spent with my second job over there, I worked for McDonnell Douglas. Then for some time, doing that, exactly that, working with aircraft or with other people around and communities that you would think, and world locations where you would think it's going to be a beautiful place because you see this in the news all the time. Come visit our country and come like to sit on their beaches. But you don't notice one thing. It's what's behind the background. They put up a really nice facade in a lot of places, which I don't think that we do here in Mount Horeb. We put up a beautiful facade, but it's not just a facade. It's what we have in our interior, what we show the people here. And every day I go down the streets here in Mount Horeb, and I look at everything that's here, and I see the people that come in from other communities. And I talk to those folks, and I see these people constantly. And I ask them, I say, what do you feel best about Mount Horeb? And they always bring up the fact over there that they always like the trolls. Okay, that's one of the things I really like the most about it. And they also like to have the restaurants and the stores that we have in there and offer and so forth. And I think we have a really great opportunity coming into this village right now, with the Duluth building up the large building they have here. Largest building I've ever seen in this city, okay, or this village, excuse me. And it is going to be a great asset to this community itself. I just hope that it brings an awful lot more business in and brings an awful lot more economy into our area. What I have to do and what I offer here as well is what I've done, through my career, not only with the Marine Corps and also with the McDonnell Douglas. I also communicated, and we also got together with Boeing, then merged with McDonnell Douglas, and we became a company of one. And I stayed with them for about 17 years. My 17 years there as well, you know, working with different people and different aircraft from around the world and around the country and so forth, brought an awful lot to my mind, you know, as to what we really are. Also, what we see here today in Mount Horeb, the beauty of the city itself. And what would I do to make, how will I work on the village's behalf? I've done this now on the village board now for the past 2 years, okay? Each term is about a 2-year period. And I've enjoyed it immensely, okay, right? And I've learned an awful lot from the fellow folks that are on the board with me. And I see several of them in here in the audience here today, and it's a great pleasure to see that they're here. We all sit in there and we talk about and argue, not argue, but we always discuss an awful lot of things that are going to happen here to us as village people. What's going to happen with our streets, what's going to happen with our buildings and so forth. And I see in the past 2 years that I've been here, we've made a huge and large improvement in a lot of things, especially around the Main Street time here in town. I'd like to see other streets improve as well. The topic always comes up about, well, what about parking? Everybody knows what the parking is like here in Mount Horeb. You know, we have a number of stalls that we have here too. We've looked at so many different ways, and we have some of those folks that have done that research themselves, and they're here with us this evening, you know, looking at that. And there really isn't much you can do with the actual downtown section itself over there unless we build a high-rise for parking lot. You know, where we're going to do that, you know, how we're going to fund that particular unit. But there are plenty of places for people to park. And I ask people to come here from other areas, okay, and that's what the nice part is, the tourists that come here. I said, how do you find about parking here? He says, oh, we always find a spot. We don't mind walking through the village itself, you know, and seeing what you have, and it gives us a better idea what's going on. And when I visit other communities around the country, around this area here in Wisconsin and so forth, and I ask them, I says, well, what's your favorite place about the different areas around here? And somehow or another, they always bring up Mount Horeb, okay, and they always bring up the Troll restaurant, the Grumpy Troll. They just, you know, love everything about the whole community, and they will come and they will drive for hours just to come out here, just to be with us. And I think that's a great thing for our village itself, you know, what we've already had to offer for them. Now, let's see. Oh, I missed my note. I'm sorry. Okay, some of the things that I can also bring here to this community as well. Okay, what I can do for them. Because of my background and what I have and what I've brought from other locations, you know, in the military and also with the commercial businesses and stuff, I've learned to communicate and get along with other people and bring an awful lot to them, as well as them experiencing what I can bring to them as well, you know, and showing them different processes of communicating. Some of the things that I enjoy the most is getting out here in the village itself and talking with even the residents. I talk an awful lot with a lot of people, you know, from different areas around the village, and asking them, you know, what their views are and what their opinions are. Okay, that's the best way to find out what we need in our communities, you know, rather than us sitting here deciding, well, we can get by with just this. Okay, so my part that I can really bring here to the village the most, you know, is just giving them what they need and what they want. Okay, some of the things that I do like and I really am interested in too, you know, and that's that we have a memorial coming up to a lot of the military personnel here in the village, which will be able to support quite, you know, and the village doesn't support that, right? But they're already looking into that process and making the memorial itself a very nice, wonderful place for other people around the area to come by and see. We don't have any other really lavishing components around, you know, but we do have some nice troll features around, and we also have that nice troll mountain we're putting up over here on the east side of the village, okay, at the entrance there off of Springdale. And the design for that, you know, is a rather unique design. And I support that completely, right, what we do, you know, because a lot of people will be here in our village, you know, using it and bringing that in to help our tourism and so forth. And I've lived here in Mount Horeb probably about 4 years, I could say, and I enjoy it very much. I came from the city of Verona, I had a home in Verona where my wife and I lived there for quite a few years, and I also came, before that I was in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's a pretty big area. You come out in this direction over here, right, and you begin to see, how communities change and viewpoints are changed and so forth. But one thing you always know when you come back into this village, it's always a beautiful area to come into. And easy to get to my home and drive into my place and everything, coming down to 151. I can always get off at the second exit if I'm coming out of Madison. But I always like to take the first exit. The only main reason I like to do that is I love driving through our village and looking to see what everybody here has done and put together. I think they've done a marvelous job, everybody here has. And I can only support everything that they have here and help decide things for them, make it better. Thank you very much. I don't have much more that I want to put on. And I hope you enjoyed my session, and that's it.
My hardest thing is going to be getting up these steps. I've got very bad knee. And I am Kathy Scott, the last one to talk. I give a little background. This will be my third time running as a trustee. If I'm elected, I've been on 3 times. I served in my previous town for 4 years as a trustee. It all started because of the League of Women Voters, and that was because this strange-looking man came to my door in Wakanda, Illinois, knocked on it, and wanted me to sign his petition. And I said, for what? And he said, well, for the spring election. And I said, well, who are you? And he said, well, I'm the mayor. I said, you're the mayor? And he said, yeah. And I had never in my entire life ever had anyone ask me to sign a petition. And that got the ground going for me getting interested in local government. I ended up having the League of Women Voters do a forum for the 2 groups of trustees, and blah, 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 blah. I then became a trustee. So for 30 plus years I was in financial services, owned a business, so I sort of have a business background. When it came time to sell the business, I knew I wanted to move. I'm from Janesville, Wisconsin originally, but I got lost in Illinois for 29 years. And I have 2 daughters, one of which lived in Blue Mountains at the time. So because I have this endless font of curiosity, I subscribed to Mount Horeb Mail for 2 years before I moved here, because I wanted to get to know the flavor of the town, the people, the movers and shakers, what it was all about. And I thought it sounded great, so I ended up buying a house here. Right when I moved here, there was a man beaten due to a drug issue on some street, and I thought, this is unbelievable. When I had just put an offer in on the house, people were picketing due to some internal problems that we're having with the village. I thought, what on earth am I getting myself into? I mean, this little quiet community I'm moving to from the horrors of Illinois, and now all this stuff is going on. So, right when I moved here, I started attending all the meetings, because I like government, I understand government. I find it really interesting, and that's probably quite boring for most people, so I probably am a little odd. I have dogged determination to research things if it's a hot button to me. I'm not excited about everything that we do as trustees, but it all just seems to work. Some people really care about planning commission and how high a fence can be. That doesn't really interest me at all. I care about finances. I care about I serve on the finance committee, the public safety, which is police department, public works, which are streets and gutters and sewers and sewer treatment facilities, all these exciting things. I'm on the steering committee for the new police and fire building that's going up. We meet every month. I started out by being asked to serve on the utility commission, which I knew nothing about except for what, at the time, the mayor was Dave Becker. What he didn't tell me, it was a 7-year term. I thought, my God, I'm going to be 70 when my term is over. I mean, I will have gone on Medicare, and this whole thing, and I'll be 70 years old when I'm over for it. Well, I'm now 68, and I am, retired, still serve on the utility commission. I enjoy the board. I think we get along. I think it's okay not to always agree. I think sometimes people feel more comfortable if they always agree because what will other people think? And I think you reach a stage in life you don't care what they think. I mean, life's too short. Say how you're feeling and move on. If your position is accepted, that's great. If it's not, so be it. I mean, it's not that in the whole scope of life. It's not that big of a deal. What else? What else do you want to know? I like what I do. And that's it.
And with that, we'd like to thank you all for coming out.